Welcome to the Q-Pop Podcast, your home for World of Warcraft PvP.
Hey,
Hello and welcome. It is Monday, September 28th. I'm your host, Raishiwi. Along with me is my co-host, Thraenin, and this is the Q-Pop Podcast. We are currently in week 13 of season 16, or better known as Warlord Season 2, and the current catch-up cap is 19,700. How are you doing, Thraenin?
I'm not too bad. How you doing, man?
I'm doing just great. How has your experience been the last few weeks playing World of Warcraft Arena?
It's been kind of slow, honestly. It's that, in the expansion lull, waiting for Legion.
I feel it. So I think since this is our first episode, we better start off with a little bit of introduction. So I'll go ahead and tell you who I am. I am Raishiwi. I started playing World of Warcraft in vanilla, and then once Burning Crusade came out, I saw Arena. It was very tempting. So in season 2, I started playing Arena. Season 3, I got my first duelist as a boomkin, and I've been playing ever since. I've been 2200 plus on multiple classes: priest, mage, shaman, and of course druid. Right now I am maining a feral druid and doing very well. Why don't you tell us about yourself, Thraenin?
Well, I started back in vanilla, and haven't really taken a break since. Started doing arenas around season 3 or so. Started as a holy paladin and kind of stuck with it. I've got a couple of other ones. I've got a druid resto and a couple others that I don't really play that much, but those are my two mains. Been about 2400 constantly since then. Nothing really serious, just kind of messing around. Other than that, that's pretty much me.
Great. And so I think this is really cool that we get this dual perspective here. I've always put it DPS. The only thing that I've ever been high as was at the end of MOP. I did play Holy Priest, and it was kind of cheeky a little bit, but I've always just played a DPS. Started out as Boomkin, then I switched to Mage, and then Ellie Shaman, and then eventually back to Druid and to where I'm at as Feral. So I think that's really cool that we get your healer side of the perspective, and that's kind of neat. So wanted to talk about a little about what this podcast is going to be, and it's going to be just basically arena junkies without all the trolls in the form of a podcast. And I think there's a lot of streams out there, and there's a lot of people that like to talk about their ideas and express them on stream, but there's not like this collective place where we all just have this great discussion, have these different people from different classes, different perspectives come in here and tell us what they think, and it just ends up being keyboard warriors on the forums bashing Holinka. And I thought maybe we could do something a little more constructive, a little more fun. And so we'll have this podcast, the Q-Pop Podcast, every Monday at 5:30 Pacific. And yeah, if anybody's interested in giving us some questions or tweets, you can email us at qpopped@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at qpopped. And sure. So there's been a lot going on the last month of WoW PvP, like a ton.
Oh, yes.
Like we just had the 3 weeks ago was the North American Regionals, which is just
Yeah, like 3.5 weeks ago.
that
Something like that.
that was awesome. Like the production
was
value
amazing.
of that was the highest I've ever seen anything World of Warcraft. And but
Yeah,
go ahead.
it was amazing to watch. The teams knew what they were doing. Blizzard put on an amazing show. So yeah,
I thought it was a great idea that they bring in these big streamers like Bajira and Vinruki and Supatis to come stream and come watch us. Like it was so fun to me that they brought all those guys. What did you think about Bajira's position? He's like this after game, not really a play by play, but he like lays it all out in layman terms for his stuff. Like that's something they've never done. Like the takeaway of the
right.
games.
And he's not really like that though. He's more of a play by play when it's happening.
And he is a player. Like he's been glad
Yeah, he is hardcore.
a bunch of seasons. Like you wouldn't think that from that guy. He won the Muscle Beach Championship, which I think if I'm right, like Arnold Schwarzenegger participated in that. I think it's awesome to have somebody like that represent World of Warcraft. You can't ask for anybody
Wait,
better.
he did what?
The physique championship that he did. He works on physiques and stuff, and he competed in the Muscle Beach Physique Championship, and he won the whole thing. And it was his second physique contest ever. And we get that guy for WoW.
Dang.
It's so great to
Holy
me.
crap, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the dude's a beast.
Wow.
Hit him with the flex. Shout out
Yeah.
to Bajira. So let's see. Let me make sure this is on screen for you guys. Next thing I wanted to talk about was over the weekend we had a 6v6 Battle for Gilneas tournament. Did you know about this before I told you?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, Arena Junkies posted this a few days ago. They had a 6v6. I only got to watch the very beginning of it, but it's some big guys in it. And I look at the brackets and pulled up the participants that are left, and there's only 4 out of 6, and I can't tell you which ones made it because I don't think they've updated their brackets. Let me check.
Yeah, they haven't updated yet. I tried to look.
Yeah, they don't have the 4 teams on there. But some of the players in this thing are big. You've got Dota, Lock God TKO, you got and Peekaboo, Rend, and Elite, all on the same team. And then we also have Rosita Jones, Gareki, Cubsy, Chanimals on a team. And I believe ABN had a team. Don't know if it made it through. Relapse and Albo. They're actually on my server, Emerald Dream. So I noticed them. I mean, there's some big guys in this thing. And those...
Yeah.
I'm not sure if those 2 big name teams actually made it. Oh, Jamili's on that first team as well. So, yeah, no big deal. He also...
Wow.
So he's also in the North American regionals. So yeah, before we move on, I wanted to do a little thing because I always have to calm down at the end of the day. I work long days, and I have to come home and calm down before I start this stream/podcast. So I wanted to do a beer of the week just to show you what I'm drinking for the week to get through all this deal. And this week I picked the Spaten Optimator, which is my favorite beer of all time. Anybody that knows me knows this. I thought it would be a great start. It's got an 87 on Beer Advocate. It is a Doppelbock of 7.6% alcohol, so it's not crazy, but it's pretty strong, and it's a pretty heavy beer. If you're going to drink a lot of it, be prepared to not feel so well the next morning because it's going to feel like you ate 7 or 8 cheeseburgers. Yeah, but it's a great beer. You drink that a couple with some other light beers, you'll have a great time and enjoy it. And even though it's this full, dark, very dark beer, it's got a real light, sweet taste to it on the edge. So we can move on from that. Would you like to go over the EU regionals?
Sure, why not?
Okay, and I don't know all these teams. There are all these people in it.
Yeah, neither do I.
But I do know
They're
some
not the
of
usual
them.
ones that show up.
Yeah. So I think the very first qualifier is one where everybody knows people.
Yeah.
Both of those teams. And it was Reawakened and Toxic Youth. Which Reawakened is Mipoke's team. And Zuniaki. No Lifer and Waz. Crazy team to beat.
Yeah.
The other team in the first qualifier was Botar and Swapsy. And I've
Never heard of any of those.
Botar is in. If you ever watch the ESL that goes on every few weeks, their team is in it every single time, and they win every single time. Like, they are unstoppable. But Minpoke's team is also qualified in some of that stuff as well. Yeah, Botar's team, he's a Resto Druid. I'm not sure. I think I've seen him play Resto Shaman as well. But I know they play RMD. And I actually think they play LSD3 is what they play, I believe, with the Enhanced Shaman. Enhanced Shaman Lock Resto Druid is what their main comp is.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar
And
now that you're saying it.
And I think MLS is probably their alt comp. But not a lot of people are pulling that out of their hats these days.
No.
But the other one, if you need the link, I can give it to you. But it's Reawakened. But here's the link for you. You can pull that up.
Alright.
And the second set is what I was left off on. The qualifier number 2. Banana Boat, Solari Gaming, and Rake to Win.
Yeah. You've got me.
I watched Solari Gaming over the weekend, and they played phenomenally. That's Zonica. I don't know if you know him. They play Holy Pally God Comp mostly. Frostfeet is that's the Shadow Priest, and Livin is the mage. And man, I think it was, let's see, it was them versus an RMD, and the series was just crazy. It would go back and forth. Like, RMD versus God Comp's usually pretty quick and pretty decisive, and this one just kept going on and kept resetting. You would think, oh, this mage is out of ice block, so their team's going to win, and it would come back, and turns out they wouldn't win. But, so in the third well, I guess I can look at the other teams there real quick. Banana Boat, which actually is Looney's team. If you remember Looney from last year's BlizzCon, he made it very, very far. I can't remember if they won or not. I want to say maybe they did with that LSD2 with the Boomkin. I think
they did.
So,
yes, they did with I can't remember his name now. I just had it.
Was it I Am Zod, or I think he just came with the name Boomkin at that tournament. But I remember that very Sea-Doo style. Let them get to 20%, dispel everything you can in that wizard cleave, and just not worry about healing too much. Just dispel over and over and over and over and over again, and just keep going. And then Rake to Win sounds like some kind of Feral Druid team. Oh yeah, Fei Winyo. I think that's an FLS team. So that Feral Lock Shaman we'll get to see. And the other teams were Balanced, who is
Reawakened 3.
Yeah. Balanced is Talby 2, who is Talby's a Resto Druid. So Resto Druid, Rogue, Mage. Looks like they have more than 4 teams listed here for character names. So I'm not sure. I think it's God Comp and RMD is what they play. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And then Reawakened 3, I think is the team I was just talking about. With, well, no, not all of them. I Am Cutie, Mystic. So they're playing Jungle, FLF. They have a whole bunch of different comps. You can see it here. This is all their classes. Yeah. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11 classes. So they have a lot of teams, which we know is not necessarily good. And then the last team is 3 languages, 1 team, which I assume they're all from different countries, but looks like they're playing Ebola, Holy Paladin, DK, Feral Druid, which is a comp that I play quite often, and I really like it.
I don't think I've ever actually played that.
It's really
Oh.
fun. We should play it sometime. It's
Oh,
kind
for
of.
sure.
It's kind of. Have you played Windwalker DK Holy Paladin?
Yes.
It's a lot like that. You just rush each other's healers and hope that you win, except for there's a little bit of clones, some heals, and you're on a much longer cooldown time because Incarnation's 3 minutes, so you just kind of sit around for a lot of the time.
That sounds interesting.
Then the next one we have, as far as tournaments, was the ESL from last weekend, which ended up being that Toxic Youth versus Reawaken that we just saw. So that was Mim Poike's team versus Botar's team. And let's see if I can pull this Toxic Youth up. They have competed in the Geo4 WoW ESL Cup 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Plus, they were in the monthly final in August. And the qualifiers, of course, for Blizzcon. So they are playing a ton, and I think that's really interesting compared to some of the U.S. players. Like, I don't think the U.S. players have all that much experience just playing tournaments every single week and be ready to switch comps and know what your opponents are ready to do.
Yeah, that. It's going to be interesting.
I think it's going to be a really fun tournament to watch. Let's see what else we got. So, of course, now we can go to the North American, which I know you watched. And we were actually confused on the first team that qualified because we couldn't get a name right. But I'll let you go ahead and introduce all those 3 teams.
All right. So, the team that actually ended up winning it was Team Juveniles. Or was it Rise of the Sock or whatever?
Yeah, Rise of the Sock, which I believe is a pun off Wealthy Socks, because I think Roasty changed his name in one of the qualifiers to like roast of the sock or roast sock or something like that. So they were going off of that name.
Yeah, I've never even heard that name before though. That's the weird thing.
Well, that's what they played in the second qualifier cup. That was the name they used. After that, they switched to Juveniles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's why I was confused. Okay, got you. The second team was Tempo Storm. They came in second in the qualifier.
Who all is on that team?
Honestly, let's see if I can find it here.
That's Jamili's team, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, Tempo Storm.
It's
Jamili, Peekaboo, Rogue Mage.
Boo. Yeah.
And then they have 2 healers on that team. No. It's Elite, it's Holy Paladin, and Starship Resto Druid.
Starship Resto Druid.
And I believe the reason for that is that Peekaboo plays... Peekaboo plays Shadow Priest. And so they had the option to play Holy Paladin God Comp rather than just play RMD every game.
Yeah. Which is actually what they ended up doing in the finals. They just ran RMD the entire time.
And what... They did take 1 game off of Juveniles, right?
Yeah, and it's the only game that Juveniles lost the entire tournament. So
Did they change that up at all? Was that a different comp, or was that just a mirror?
No, it was just a mirror the entire final, and they just pulled one out.
Great. I do remember watching that, but it was a 4-0 skunk still, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They could be just waiting on that big BlizzCon ticket so they could go in and they might not have want to shown everything that they had up their sleeves. But yeah, Elite actually is the team captain, the Holy Paladin, and I don't think he played a single game. But I'm not sure.
No, that's Yeah, that's what I was confused about. Is he didn't play at all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then the last team was Carlos Banditos, which of course was Jelly Beans Jungle Cleave.
Yep.
And they did really awesome. They had to fight Vanguard's team, right, to qualify. The very end, it was the third
Yes, they
place
did.
match,
Yeah.
and they just barely came out. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
guess first place won 50,000. Second place, Tempo Storm brought home 20,000. And third place, Carlos Banditos brought home 10,000. Not that much, just shy about. But what I thought was great was the team that only brought 3 people only had to split 50,000 between 3 people.
Yeah, I know. That's a big chunk of money for 3 people.
So, if you would like, we had patch 6.2 back in early September. If you want to go across and talk about some of those changes real quick, and then we'll discuss that. If you can read off
Okay.
some of that stuff.
Alright, let me find it really quick. Are we talking just like the racial stuff or like everything?
Racial stuff, also the Feral Druid nerf, the Lock nerf, and the Windwalker Monk buffs as well.
Let's see here. Yeah, within the time limit of that match, it's 10-minute debuff. It's kind of like when you, like dungeons and stuff, when you leave and don't kill a boss, it's that 30-minute debuff, except this one's only 10 minutes.
Have you got that yet? Like, I've went in there and kind of
No,
AFK'd
actually.
for a few minutes and then left and not got it because I did something.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it at all.
I think I've got it maybe one time. Horde and Alliance, right?
Say what? Sorry.
You play both Horde and Alliance, right?
Yes.
So what race?
More Alliance than Horde.
What races are your Horde?
My original paladin was a blood elf, I think. No, sorry, it was blood elf.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's been a while since I've actually played that one, and haven't really played Horde a whole lot since probably early Kata. I do every once in a while hang out with some friends, but yeah, I'm mainly Alliance now.
Well, I kind of joined that bandwagon just a little bit. I took just my main, no big deal, a Horde, and played a little bit, and I'm actually torn blood elf, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a whole lot of fun. But I think most people that did transferred for the blood elf change, right?
Yeah, I believe so. That silence is intense if you can get it off at the right time.
So I've seen a lot of. You said you played Windwalker, DK, Holy Paladin. I've seen triple blood elf, and they'll use their it's fixed. They'll use their Fist of Fury, their Strangulates, all of that stuff, and then afterwards they'll double blood elf silence just so they can land a kill on a healer. And I think that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So War Stomp got a shorter cooldown, and the Blood Elf Silence got a shorter cooldown. Now they actually did buff all that stuff. They made it like a 3-second silence and a 3-second stun instead of a 2-second.
Yes.
And they had to pull that stuff back, which I think was great. I don't want them to overdo that stuff to make everybody transfer. I don't want to spend. I don't know how many dollars it would be to transfer every character I have to go back Horde. It would be a lot. I mean, it's $30. It would be at least a couple $100 that I'd have to drop just to transfer.
Ouch.
It would not be fun.
That's intense.
But then on class chains, we did get a 10%. No, actually a 4% nerf to Rake. It got buffed by 20% and then nerfed by 20%. So it's actually a 4% in PvP. And Rip, the same thing. I play Feral Druid main. I really didn't notice the difference. Maybe in some longer dampening games, you can maybe not land a kill where you would have before. Not really. Warlock, kind of the same thing. 10% nerf to their dots, but I think they're still in a good place. I think it nerfed
Oh
WLS
yeah.
a little bit and some other comps, but FLS is still good. Windwalker lock is still good. Warrior lock is still good. There's lots of good stuff. LST3 is still really strong. So I don't think they really have any problems. And then, so you play a
Yeah.
monk, so I'll let you talk about the monk changes.
Oh no, I play a holy paladin.
Oh yeah, you play Holy Pad. I don't know why I thought you played a monk. So
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't think I've ever actually played him before.
monk got some giganto buffs. Like
Oh yes, yes they
Blackout
did.
Kick deals 10% more damage, which is one of their biggest short cooldown moves, like 6 seconds. Rising Sun
Yeah,
Kick, or actually Blackout Kick, spammable. Rising Sun Kick's a 6 second cooldown, 10% damage. Tiger Palm, which is their like Sunder Armor kind of
just their
thing.
main.
Yeah, they spam that all the time. 20% buff. And Fists of Fury, which is like their biggest burst, 20% damage.
20% more damage.
Now, the reason I think this is so interesting is because their burst always lines up with their CC because of that.
Yeah.
That's insane to me. And you're a Holy Pally. I mean, what class are you most afraid to like that you have to run away from now, or what comp?
The one I usually run is a god comp, holy pally god comp. So my biggest like fear is a beast cleave. For some reason, I cannot beat a beast cleave.
Beast Cleave still. Now,
And
that's not a very popular comp at the moment.
no, but if you get one against a god comp, you're pretty much guaranteed to win because the enhanced shaman with that 1 minute cooldown. Was it ancestral spirit or whatever? No, that's the fest. Um, ancestral something, and they pop that. It's a minute cooldown, so you've got a minute to burst it down, or you're in trouble. So, yeah,
So who do they usually kill when you play God Comp? What does Beast Cleave usually?
like who they kill on my team,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they usually come after either the healer or they go after the shadow priest.
And they have 2 dispels. Now I know hunters can't spam dispel as much as they used to, but they can spam it quite a lot.
Yeah,
So bops are pretty much useless against a double melee team, which is crazy and sucks. But yeah, I don't know. So I played like jungle, and I played Ebola and FLS or FLP as well. It seems to me like that Windwalker DK just kills everybody.
yeah, and it's not something you see in a lot of tournaments either. So
No, but I think
I'm waiting for somebody to pull that out.
there were several teams in the qualifier that did play that, and the patch came the next week, and they would have for sure qualified. I think
Oh yeah,
like Vinruki and Cedo at one point they were playing that Windwalker DK with Mez, Cedo, and Vinruki, and it's pretty crazy now. But the one thing I hate about that comp is I watched some of the streams of like Balance and Vinruki slash Finfuki and SSJ Wingod, and they'll play these mirrors against each other, and both Holy Paladins die almost every game. Like they cross kill, and they go into this DK Windwalker 2v2 every single time, and then it turns into this annoying kind of well, whose cooldowns rotated at what time, and it really sucks, and it makes the healers feel terrible. Like you watch either of their streams, and they're just like, well, what is he doing that I didn't do? And then the next game, the other one will win. You'll watch the other stream. Well, what did he do that I didn't do? Like we gotta watch
yeah,
that.
I've
Like,
watched that a couple of times.
and a few times you'll see like Cedu will get upset and he'll say, how come their Poly Paladin didn't have to use anything and I had to use everything? And of course they'll have a reason of situations that happened, but it can't feel good. DPS always want to blame the healers always want to blame the DPS. So I hope that you don't get blamed too often. But
Not really. I'm pretty casual at the moment, but come Legion, I'm gonna get pretty hardcore again. So
do you ever have to rage quit a call because somebody just is blaming you entirely?
yes, I've done that several times.
I
Oh man.
I hate that, and I've had the healers rage on me too. Like, why were you behind the pillar and not where you're supposed to be? I'm just like,
Right.
But let's see, and I think that's it for the patch notes. So let's talk about kind of the current meta a little bit.
All right.
So, what do you think the best comp in the game is right now? Just in your opinion, this is totally opinion based. Healers are going to feel different. Now, right now in the current meta,
Yeah.
I think maybe everybody has this succinct feeling of what the best meta is, but I want to hear your opinion.
Honestly, RMD right now is so overpowered.
It, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, because every patch may just get another buff and another buff and another buff, and it's getting ridiculous almost. Same thing with rogues, though. I mean, you almost can't kill a rogue now.
What I think's funny about this comp is that individually in other comps, they're not that good. They have God comp, and they have
Yep.
RMD, and rogues have RMD and I think RMD. That's it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've
Pretty much
seen
the only decent one they can do.
a couple like thug cleaves. I've seen a couple smoke bombs, but not really. Like it's mostly just RMD every single game. That must be frustrating to be one of those classes. See, that's why I really
Yeah.
like multi-classing, because, and you probably get this as a healer, you get to play with whoever you need to. You don't have to sit and wait for this one comp to log on and play. Like that is
Yeah,
kind of a
exactly.
fallback of a rogue. But there are so many RMDs that are going to make to BlizzCon.
Yeah, it's pretty much the most common tournament playing right now.
Now I think the fan favorite right now to win BlizzCon is actually going to be Zuniaki's and Minpoke's God Comp, their Holy Pally God Comp. I think
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
that's the
That's what
favorite.
I've done. So
So it's just going to be, can they beat every God Comp in the world, or excuse me, every RMD in the world? Because if they can beat every RMD in the world, then they're just going to win the tournament. And I think
yeah,
if they do win, like they are 100% deserving of that. Because RMD doesn't really have any real counters, as far as I know.
yeah. Any counters you have can be countered by a rogue. So
What other comps have we seen? I've seen a lot of Turbo Cleave.
yes, and a lot of jungle cleave.
A lot of Turbo, a lot of Jungle. That stuff can't be fun as a healer.
No, I hate jungle cleave. I'll be completely honest. I cannot stand jungle cleave.
And it's actually less kind of Mongo mode than it used to be,
Yeah,
which is nuts. But, I mean, Jelly Beans showed that it is a real team and they are here to fight. So I know a lot of people say that Jungle Cleave's fallen off to what it used to be, but I think the reason that it's so good is it does beat Enhanced Shamans. And I don't know why, but they called Jelly Beans the Enhanced Shaman killer. So, and he did beat Vanguards. So,
yes,
Vanguard's probably the best Enhanced Shaman right now. Of course, we already talked about Windwalker DK Pally. Super popular. I Q ladder, and I see this comp every day, all the time. They train healers like 90% of the time. It's not fun. And it's like not terribly predictable, but it's kind of got this sequence of predictability because you can't kill a Windwalker without getting Touch of Karma. So if you're a burst team that has like a Feral Druid, like really relies on the burst, or like a warrior like Turbo Cleave, you can't go on the Windwalker. The DK is sort of killable, but it depends what comp you have. If you're playing God comp, he's just gonna AMS every like 50 seconds
Yep.
because it's a minute, but it gets reduced. And then the paladin on that team is going to live to every melee team, period, that doesn't have a dispel.
Yeah,
Like
pretty much.
Ebola. Oh my god, playing Ebola into Windwalker DK is terrible because you have to kill the Holy Paladin, and he's gonna bop twice in bubble, and you might get it off with the DK's Icy Touch. Probably not gonna get it off.
Yeah, probably not.
One thing I want to talk about tonight, though, was is there a class that doesn't have a viable spec? Like, in Arena, like I'm trying to think. I know there's plenty of specs that aren't terribly viable, like Ret Paladin, Elemental Shaman's not very good. But is there a class that doesn't have a really good spec that they can jump into Arena with?
Um, the only one I can really think of is a sub rogue, and even that's viable now. So
Well, I
I
mean,
mean, it's not common,
I'm,
but
I'm talking about a class that has viable specs. So,
I'm sorry.
I mean, rogues have combat, but I think
Yeah.
I think there's even quite a few sub rogues as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, I misunderstood the question.
just a flat out class. Like shamans
Not really.
Shamans have resto and enhance. Druids have really all three specs. Boomkin's not crazy, but they're pretty good in frozen
Yeah, certain
chicken.
times.
Yeah. Disc Priest, not very good. Okay, can do it in RMP, but they do have
Yeah.
the Shadow Priest for God Comp.
Yes.
Warriors, I think both warrior specs, Fury and Arms, can be pretty good. I think in Turbo
Yeah.
they play mostly Arms, but in like WLS they play Fury. What else is there? Hunter. Hunter has multiple things too. I see a lot of survival and you see a lot of beast.
Yes.
Monks, Windwalker's great. Paladin.
Miss
Oh,
Mistweaver not so much, but
yeah, Mistweaver not so much, which is reversed from the end of
yeah.
Mop. But Warlocks, I think Affliction's okay. I think actually Destruction's okay too. There's been a couple of Destruction locks that have appeared in these tournaments, and they'll randomly one shot somebody. And even Demo, I think there's a Demo team that randomly one shot somebody in the qualifiers as well. I think Chanimal's Method, I think that they played Demo one game and randomly got a win, and that was it. But so moving on, so we have this big European regionals coming up this weekend, and then there's not a lot of time, like a month until BlizzCon. So, are you going to BlizzCon?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
You're not.
Not
Okay.
this year.
I'm not either. I've never been. Have you ever been?
Yes, I've been to BlizzCon a couple of times actually.
Oh.
It's incredible.
I can imagine. I've been to a lot of cons and a lot of big gaming events. I've been to some MLGs and stuff, but I've not been to BlizzCon yet. I have several friends that have been. It would be so much fun because I also follow a lot of the esports, the Hearthstone, the StarCraft, the Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah.
But I always just like harken back to WoW every few months and get really into the WoW PvP, whether it's big or not. I don't really care. But so I guess we can talk about Legion a little bit. I mean, I know
This is one that
yeah, go ahead.
it's going to be interesting. It's complete total revamp of PvP.
Yeah, I
For
think
Legion.
it's gonna be insanely different. And I do have some worries, but I think a lot of the stuff they talked about, that interview with Bajira and Holik, like was really good. Do you have all that stuff pulled up?
Yes, I do actually. I
Okay.
was reading it not too long before this started.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Well, first off, there's no resilience or PvP gear anymore. That's one of the big ones. It's pretty much all going to be class based. It is a certain template for whatever spec you've got. So for me, Holy Paladin would be a certain thing that you do with a certain spec that is completely different from your PvE spec. And I think that's kind of cool. I mean, it's all about how they're going to implement it, though. I mean, if it's all at once, it's going to be rough. Because it's so resilient and PvP based right now, like the power, that you take that away, you've got to revamp everything that you do. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I did have some mic problems there,
Oh, okay.
but we are back, and
All right.
so yeah, I don't know. Legion using no gear as progression. That's insane to me too. One thing I'm really concerned about is they talked about the prestige system that they implemented.
Yeah.
I'm worried that like high-end PvPers aren't really going to get the chance to do that unless they do it on alts, because you're going to want to stay maxed the whole time so you can go back into arena.
Right.
And so I really don't know how that's going to work in the competitive PvP. I think that's more of a casual thing.
Yeah. And one thing I'm actually curious about with the new artifact system, like for PvE, is that going to be a PvP thing too? Are we going to have one weapon the entire expansion?
I think probably so.
For
From what I've
yeah,
seen, that's what it sounds like, is they're going to put that into PvP as well, which isn't necessarily bad, because I think we already have that system now with transmog, because nobody looks like what they have gear now, so it doesn't really matter to add 5 levels, and even on a weapon, I mean,
right.
I think it's okay. So they talk about the human ratio a little bit in that as well.
Yeah, that they're not sure what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, they mentioned that they could reduce the cooldown by 20%, maybe. And yeah, and they say we don't want to get anything in stone because it might be too good. And I think probably 20% reduction would be too good. I think every healer would just be human after that. So, but they do say
Yeah.
the big thing that I really like about this whole interview that they did was they put in big, like, very confident, you won't have to raid to get the best gear for PvP. And I was really worried about that because they talked about, yeah, you won't have to get to raid. There won't be any PvP gear because the gear will only scale by like a percent or two or a half a percent between an item level difference. But I think won't the best PvPers, won't the really competitive ones that want to get rank 1 on ladder, won't they, like, won't a 2% matter to them? I think they will go PvE.
Yeah. If it means you're getting that slight advantage, even 1% is huge in competitive arenas.
I thought so
So
as
yeah, I
well.
think there's going to be a lot of arena
Yeah.
rating.
So they say, for example, every 5 item levels may give you 1% stat increase. This way, stats will increase your power, but it won't give you a huge advantage. 1%, especially in, like, if they keep the dampening system in a long game, 1% is gonna be make or break on a
Oh,
game.
it's going to be huge for healers.
I think that's gonna be for like rot teams. But on the other hand, I think every first part of every expansion has always been super bursty comps. So
Yes.
maybe they'll get that stuff tuned out right at the very beginning. And they have a lot of easier way to tune stuff now too, and that's awesome. They can just take a class and say, Windwalkers aren't doing enough damage. Let's just flat out increase them 3% or 5%, and it won't affect the PvE stuff now. So Alinka can kind of do his job without worrying about everybody else's job. So I think that's great. What else did they mention there?
That the trinket is going to be different. That's going to be part of your talent tree and not like a trinket.
Right, and that's why they brought up the human racial thing there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool. And I think a lot. I've looked at some of the, I guess it's kind of beta, alpha stuff that they showed, like Bloodlust. You could use Bloodlust in PvP again, but it's like 20% increase instead of, it's only on one player as well. So they're changing some of that stuff. I don't know. I think it's going to be terribly unbalanced at the first, but they have this new system where they can adjust it, and it's okay. And hopefully they get it done a lot in beta. But what do you think they're going to add for besides arena? Like, or what else are we going to get in PvP besides balance? Like this expansion, we got Ashran. We didn't get a single arena. Last expansion, we got the Tolvaron arena, which I thought was a really cool map. We didn't get anything this season or this expansion.
Yeah,
we got nothing. We got Ashran. Which...
And I'm hoping.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm hoping they learn from Ashran. Honestly, I haven't done a lot of it in a long time because of just how uncoordinated it is, you know?
Yeah.
How you can be in a really good group and still fail miserably because it is so spread out. And having a battleground that's open like that, yeah, it can be fun. But as unbalanced as things are, I mean, you go up against a Warlock, you're not going to win. They're too tanky. And unless you have, 2 or 3 people backing you up, it's not going to work.
It also feels like, what's the artifact that you get? Your team gets that, and your team's God mode for a little bit, for a few minutes. That's insane to me. So I always like to compare this to Wintergrasp, because that was the first one of these kind of things that they've tried to do. It's supposed to, except Ashran is supposed to go on all the time. They harken that back to old school AV, and I don't think it feels anything like AV to me.
No, not even close.
And a lot of the problem is, especially now, they've tried to make it easier for people by making people do the bonus objectives. And I think that's worse. It splits it into 2 different battlegrounds to me.
Yeah, they're trying to go back to the way things were. Back when there wasn't the amount of information that there is now, like Wowhead and all that. That if you can't find something, you can just, figure out on that website where to, find everything and do all that. Back in like old school AV, it would for hours at a time, and that's some of the best PvP I've ever done in any game because it was coordinated, and yet at the same time we had no idea what the hell we were doing.
I feel the same way. I didn't get to play too much of the old school AV, but I did play a little bit. Last forever and ever. Now I don't know if we went back to that now. I'm not sure we would necessarily enjoy that type of.
No.
We have a much more instant gratification that we need now, but.
Yeah.
And the other.
A lot of people would probably just quit.
Yeah, and I actually just lost my train of thought. Now, the other thing I was thinking about was our player base is getting kind of old now. Like, especially if you've started at the very beginning. Like, pretty much everybody's coming close to 30. If they started in high school or something like that. I don't know. I'm 28. I don't know how old you are, but...
I'm 26, so...
So you're 26. We're post-college, most of us. We're starting our lives, starting our careers, or starting our families, and we just don't have time to do things like a 24-hour AV or, even a couple hours AV. We need a queue system. We need to queue up and just do it now. And so I think it's going to be a real balance of how we we make that work, taking it back to the old and having that kind of fun, but making it fun for the old players. The other thing I want to bring up, we have new players too. Like, it's not just old people that play this game. Like Peekaboo, I'm not sure how old he is now. I think he might be 17 now. So he's been in the scene for 2 years. I think he's 16 or 17. His older brother Dilly Poo is 19 or 20. And
Yeah, something like that.
Peekaboo qualified for Blizzcon, and he's not even old enough to do it without a guardian to take him there. And I think that's crazy to me, because I've been playing it since I was like 16, 17. And I wonder if there's going to be more of that stuff, or if we're slowing down. You know, maybe he was just a fluke. But, you know, Snuts, I talked to him a long time ago, and he used to be the young guy. Like, when he did those MLGs and stuff, he was like 16. Like, he was the youngest guy in BlizzCon. He was always super young, couldn't drink at the BlizzCons. Everybody else out partying and having a good time. He had to sneak his way in there to have fun with everybody else. And so I don't know if there's much appeal for younger people, but maybe there is.
Yeah.
So what is it that you would like to do? Do you have any ideas for, like, specific weeks or themes that we can do during the weeks? Like, I had a couple listed. You probably read through it, but
Yeah. I was reading through it, and yeah, a lot of them are pretty much the same as yours.
so you want to have a healer week? I know lots of healers. It's pretty much
That'd be awesome.
my whole friends list is just healers. I just kick everybody off because I never can find a healer. So I just make everybody a healer. Every new person that starts playing the game that I know in real life, like they're like, what class should I play? I'm like, yeah, probably a Resto Shaman or something. Maybe a Holy Paladin or a Resto Druid or a Mystery Weaver Monk or a Discipline Priest. You know, something like that. But they're like, huh, okay. Do you think that's good? And I'm like, yeah, we'll get high rated, you know, if you do that. Like,
Yeah.
will I have fun? I'm like,
Healer.
and they're always like, well, will I have fun doing that? I'm like, well, we'll get high rated. I don't know if you'll have fun, but
It's overrated.
I'll have fun. So yeah, I think a healer week would be good. I do have a few people lined up that said they may or may not do some guest appearances in the future. Vinricky said that he would like to do one for sure, but I don't know what week. I thought about bringing him on maybe a monk week or something like that, because he really, really enjoys this monk right now. The other people that I've talked to are Walter Bear, who is the Feral Druid on Carlos Banditos that just qualified. That would be really fun to listen to.
Yeah.
Snut said that he might do something, and he's a multi-classer, so he could come in on literally any week. He's played pretty much everything, and so that's really fun. I really like to get some insight from people like Sea-Doo, who have tons of influence now. And I remember watching Sea-Doo when he had like 50 viewers or something. Like, Reckful just happened to be playing with him one week, and he was just, they were playing with Bob Job or something. Nobody had heard of Sea-Doo at that point, other than really hardcore people watching him play while he was on Evil Geniuses with Azel and Tabadar. But pretty much nobody had heard of this guy, and all of a sudden now, I think he's probably the biggest WoW PvP streamer, right?
Yeah, pretty close to it.
Like Mitch Jones, I don't know if you can even call him a WoW PvP streamer at this point. Like, he does do it, but he doesn't take it nearly as seriously as he did before. Like, I really like watching him,
Yeah.
no disrespect, but I wouldn't really call him a WoW PvP streamer. Reckful obviously doesn't play WoW at all anymore. And yeah, I think it's Sea-Doo. I think that's it. Sea-Doo, and then Vinruki. Sony Digital plays a little bit. Dilly plays a little bit. Peekaboo. Yeah, it's Sea-Doo. I think he's the big man. So if he somehow is listening to this live or recorded, we would love to have you. We promise there will be no trolling involved. It will be nice and friendly. and we hope that you show up. But other than that, I think we are close to coming in on an hour now.
Yeah, pretty
we
close.
we had some stuff listed, but I don't know if you have anything that you would like to talk about.
Um,
Anything about
Not really.
the esports aspect or
No, my
anything?
biggest thing is Legion. That that worries me a little bit how they're gonna implement it.
Yeah.
But
What else did they
um,
say about Legion? Was there anything else important?
not really.
Being really quiet about that stuff, especially for PvP. One thing I loved, my favorite thing about the Legion introduction, I think, was when they introduced Feral Druids, and they showed the base, normal, average Feral Druid now,
Yeah,
and then they said, and this is the
this
dude
the
with the
Fang.
badass weapon. Here it is, and it was the exact same thing, and everybody's like, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And they go,
I was a little
lol.
upset with that.
Yeah, they said, lol, just kidding. Here it is. Here's the real one. And it looked pretty cool. And there's
Yeah,
even different Feral Druid forms. I like that. So, and they also mentioned
yeah.
since then they're going to update
It's gonna be
Moonkin
awesome.
forms. Yeah, I think it's going to be great. So, what is the Holy Paladin weapon that they have there? What's the big one? Like, I know the Rat Pelly one.
They the artifact they haven't announced it yet. They haven't announced a lot of them.
Is there anything you can think of for a Holy Paladin? I don't follow
Um,
lore as much, so I don't
Not
really know.
really. Yeah, I'm a huge lore guy, and I've got nothing. Like the biggest ones are Doomhammer and Ashbringer,
Yeah,
and
Doomhammer.
I guess Frostmourne too, but
Yeah,
a different form of Frostmourne.
yeah, which is cool. I like all the DK ones. I looked at that, but I think from a money making standpoint, I think they should have said, we welded back together Frostmourne. It's actually Frostmourne. Sorry, just kidding about all that other
Yeah,
stuff. We didn't really break it totally.
but you know how messed up that would be because of what Frostmourne does. You kill somebody, you just take their souls, and they just fight for you now.
I mean, what was the one that you could get back
Oh,
in?
Ashbringer?
Yeah, no, the
Yeah,
version
like
of
the Ashbringer. I thought.
Frostmourne. They had the legendary that you could get back then.
Oh, Shadowmourne?
Yeah, Shadowmourne. That thing, I played against a 5v5 with a Warrior and a Death Knight on the team, and two of them, I mean, the Warrior and the Death Knight both had Shadowbringer. And it would be like nothing, 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 and then you're dead. And that was when I was grinding out my 2200 for Arena Master, and I was like so pissed off because these OP PvEers came in and ruined all my fun with their stupid legendary PvE weapon. But I ended up getting it, so it was all okay. I think they had a rogue on their team. I think it was actually rogue, DK, warrior, holy paladin, some other either resto shaman or something. But two of them had that Shadowmoor, and they just sit on one player, and then you just die. No fun at all.
One thing I'm kind of looking forward to is the Demon Hunter. What's that going to be like for PvP?
Oh my god, double
Because
jump on Dalaran
oh,
Arena.
oh,
Oh no,
jeez,
please don't
I
let
wasn't
it
even
be
thinking
real.
double jump. I was thinking like the stealth breaker they've got.
Oh yeah, which they used to have something like that, like perception or something. The humans used to have, and
Yeah, something like that.
it was really imbalanced because you just walk out there and a Ret Paladin would be able to see you from 30 yards away, and I played a Druid, so I was always in stealth. Oh, that ticked me off. Yeah, I think it'll be a lot like that, and I'm hoping some of that stuff from the Demon Hunter will be pulled back. Yeah, the double jump. I was thinking on Dollar in Arena, like you just jump the whole team down and then jump back up, and uh,
Yeah,
not fun. That Z axis is never fun on the opposing team. It drives me
yeah.
crazy when warlocks and monks just port back up. Ugh. So, okay, I think we are just about it. If you have any suggestions for something we could do one week as a topic, just email that to qpopped@gmail.com. You can also tweet it at qpopped. Anything that you'd like your class to be represented, your style, hybrids, healers, DPS, tank in PvP even. You want a female gamer week, you want an old man, you want a under 15, let's not go younger than that probably, but
Yeah.
you're a homeowner. We can have a homeowner week. I don't care. Anything you guys want to do, you just let us know. qpopped@gmail.com or on Twitter @qpopped. Also, for the brew of the week, you can always email or tweet what beer you would like me to try or me to shout out. I will be more than happy to do that. I'd like to go ahead and thank D Machine with GCDTV. I'd like to thank Roe with Rail Maintenance and Extended Maintenance Podcast for helping me out and get started. Once again, you can follow us on Twitter @QPopped. You can also find our podcast recordings at soundcloud.com/QPopped podcast. And don't forget to queue up next week at twitch.tv/Raishiwi at 5:30 Pacific. That is 8:30 Eastern, 6:30 Mountain, 7:30 Central. Do the math.
Yeah.
Whatever time now is for
hard.
you, if you're watching it live, 1 hour ago. That's when we started. And where can they find you? Where can they find you at Thraenin on social media?
I'm getting all that set up at the moment, so I'll let you guys know next week for sure.
Okay, so Thraenin doesn't exist on the internet.
Yeah, he doesn't exist right now.
He is nowhere. But anyway, guys, I'm
That will
Raishiwi,
change.
and don't forget to queue up next week.